YouTube, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Bettors Edge. We are here with another preview for this weekend's NFL Divisional Round on Saturday night. We have a rematch, part 3, if you will, between the San Francisco 49ers, who are on the road traveling to the 1 seed in the NFC, and the Seattle Seahawks. Guys, we've seen this game already twice this season. It's an intra-division game. Obviously, these two teams have met twice in the regular season, and now we have round 3, as I mentioned. This line opened at Seahawks -7 and quickly was bet up with early money to Seahawks -7.5. We talk about both of these teams a lot on this channel. I talk very, very often how much I really hesitate towards backing Sam Darnold, really in any type of spot. Forget about a spot at home in a divisional matchup where he's laying 7.5 points as a home favorite. We're dealing with the San Francisco 49ers team here that is banged up, especially on defense. They've activated Fred Warner's 21-day window. I would be shocked if he ends up playing this weekend. I don't expect that to happen. Obviously, if he does play, that would be a huge surge for them in the middle of that defense. But when we're breaking this game down, it's quite simple on ultimately what this game is going to come down to. We've seen this 49ers team struggle mightily against this Mike McDonald defense. In the last matchup in Week 18, it was a winner-take-all situation, if you will, in the sense of the winner of that game won the division and was handed the 1 seed in the NFC. And the 49ers in that spot at home put up 3 points. They lost that game 13-3. What type of offensive performance are we going to get from this San Francisco 49ers team? We've seen them struggle, not only in that Week 18 matchup, but we also saw them struggle mightily offensively in the first matchup this season. 17 points in that first game. So we have the Niners putting up 17 points in the first game, and we saw the Niners offense put up 3 points in the second game. Now, the Seahawks offense at the same time hasn't been doing a ton versus this 49ers defense. So we know we're going to get relatively low-scoring affair. However, if the 49ers are going to cover this number, they're going to have to do offensively and make some kind of adjustments to move the ball up and down the field much better than they have been through 2 games against the Seahawks defense. The Seahawks defense is one of the best defenses in the league. We know that. And over the course of this season, they've really had the number of the San Francisco 49ers offense. If you're looking at backing San Francisco and you're thinking about taking the 7.5 points, realistically speaking, how much do you anticipate this offense scoring? We saw, as I mentioned, 17 in the first game and 3 in the second game. You can maybe, find a figure somewhere there in between that you're comfortable with. 14, 17, at absolute best, maybe 20 points. With that said, if you're thinking about taking Seattle and you're looking at the Seahawks as a potential play on this side, and based on the early data and the early numbers that I'm looking at, the majority of the public, sentiment seems to be favoring the 49ers in this spot. But if you're thinking about backing Sam Darnold and backing the Seahawks, the same thing kind of applies. How do you figure you're going to get to covering a number of 7.5? Are you going to take a look at this defense shutting down this 49ers offense for an entire game, for another 4 quarters, and holding them to 3 points, to 6 points, to 10 points, somewhere in that neighborhood? Because as I mentioned, in the first game we saw the Seahawks team put up 13 points, and in the second game we saw them put up 13 points. So if you're going to cover 7.5, and realistically speaking, you're only going to get offensive output production at 13 points, maybe 17 points, you're really going to have to hold down that San Francisco 49ers offense almost entirely to cover that spread. So when we're looking at both of these defenses and the success that both these defenses had, it's really going to come down to which offense whether it's Shanahan or whether it's Kubiak, what type of adjustments are they going to be able to make? What type of success are those adjustments going to have? And which one of these coaches offensively do you trust in putting together a game plan to have enough success to cover the number against the spread? It's a little bit interesting to me that the early money was on Seattle to get this number up to 7.5. And it's also a little bit interesting to me that the public sentiment seems to be backing the 49ers in this spot. They seem to be a trendy dog here on Saturday night in the divisional round of the playoffs. I talked to you guys about how reluctant I am typically to back Sam Darnold. We took them as a 3-star play in Week 18, and I was very hesitant taking them in that game because I just don't trust Sam Darnold in big spots. I'm very reluctant to put my hard-earned money on Darnold in big games. Now we're taking a look at him in a very similar situation, granted at home, but with a much bigger number at 7.5. We talked about how many mistakes he makes, and he makes mistakes. And he made mistakes in Week 18, and that defense was able to suffocate that 49ers offense enough to come out of that game with a victory. Do we anticipate that happening again? We saw two different outcomes in the first two games. This is round 3. This is where the rubber meets the road, if you will. Which one of these franchises are going to come out of this game with a huge victory and advance to the NFC Championship game is the question. With that said, we obviously know the Seahawks are coming off of a bye week. They have the rest advantage. And we know the San Francisco 49ers are coming off a massive, absolutely massive win on the road in Philadelphia as pretty decent-sized dogs. 6 points dogs was where that line closed going into that game on Sunday afternoon last weekend. Do we see the 49ers pulling off the upset again? Let me know what you guys think about this game in the comments down below. I'll be back on Friday with my official picks, predictions not only for this game, but for the remainder of the games in the NFL Divisional Round. But before we get to that, I'll be back tomorrow with more previews.